What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and I have an awesome new product from Wizkids. One that I didn't know I was looking for. Well, I sort of did, and I'll show you what I mean. And that is their new book tabs. So basically, what these are we currently have at least the Monster Manual, the Player's Handbook, and the DMG. And they are a variety of different little tags for different chapters, different classes, subclasses that you can tab the sides of your book so that you don't have to, if again, for those of us still using physical books, you can go ahead and run tabs along the side so you can just flip quickly to whatever section you're looking for. And it's funny, when WizKids reached out, I said I definitely want to do that, because take a look at my Dungeon Master's Guide. I was doing this from way back in the beginning, putting tabs on my DMG. For example, on this one I have starting at high stuff that I was always often looking for but could never find, starting at higher levels, the Death Domain Cleric and the Oathbreaker Paladin, traps, downtime activities, magic items, climbing on to a larger creature, creating magic items, and then again at that time, what was the Eladrin and the Azamar. So I thought we could go ahead and pop open these tabs, see what kind of instructions are there. And, well, I'll put my DMG down because I'll have to take those tabs off. Those are just like colored Post-it notes. And I thought, why don't we do the Player's Handbook and see. So I'll go ahead and open this up. So just a blister packaging. So there's tape on the top as well. There we go. So we can go ahead and open it up. We've got sort of a little piece of folded paper that holds all of our tabs in there. And I mean, we have, there's quite a few here, as you can see. So I don't think there's instructions, because I don't think you'd really need it, but it says contains blank tabs for optional customization, 133 pre-printed book tabs, 31 blank tabs. So let's take a look at what we have here. So this first section here, we have the various chapters. Looks like chapter 1, 2, all the different chapters, 1 through 9, as well as the introduction. Again, here's the blanks on the side there. Then this section here, casting a spell, the spell lists for all the different classes, mounted combat, shoving a creature, 2-weapon fighting. Oh, even specific spells, guys. We've got Wish, Identify, Cure Wounds, Counterspell, Hex, Magic Missile, Invisibility, Dispel Magic. And even stats for things like we've got riding, like for the creatures in the back of the book, riding horse. We've got various letters here, A through Z. Maybe that could be for spells as well, depending on how you want to organize it. Then here we've got all of the different races, as well as the classes, proficiency bonus, hit points, how to play. We've got all the different, again, the classes. Then we've got things like Channel Divinity, Rage, Font of Magic, Sorcery Points, Favorite Enemy, Alignment, Backgrounds. So basically all of the key things you would be looking for, right? So like if you're like, how does sneak attack work? You can flip to the sneak attack section. And then on this last one, we have damage and vulnerable, all the actions for combat, right? We've got adventuring gear, feats, tools, advantage, disadvantage, multi-classing, weapons, food, drink, lodging, armor, and shields. So I think we should probably start with the first one. And I guess for ease of this, you're going to want to go up and down. You probably don't want to just put them all at the top, because then you're not going to be able to see them. So we'll go ahead and open up my Player's Handbook here. And here's our table of contents. And we have the introduction. Now the first tab that I had here, introduction. So I'm going to go ahead. It is basically exactly what I did. These are essentially like a clear Post-it note. And then I will just go ahead and stick that right on the corner. And now, if I open it up, I can flip right to introduction. So you can go through and see what you think is what, in what order you want to do it. Again, some of these have, what's also nice is they're color-coded. So, for example, we have this kind of purple color represents combat, and all the actions in combat are also purple. Same thing with like backgrounds and things, or equipment is kind of a darker green. It's a darker green on here. The classes is kind of this gold color. classes are all gold. So there's a theme to everything. So I do appreciate that as you're going through. So I think I'm going to stop the video here for just a sec and do a handful of these on this book, and then we'll come back and see how it looks. All right, so I went and pretty much tabbed out the entirety of my player's handbook, which you can see here. Now, I forwent. I ignored a handful of these, and I didn't finish doing it, but like I don't need to have the sub races, right? Like I could just have elf. I don't need to have wood elf, high elf, and drow on here. I ignored kind of the base mechanics of the game, like how to find your proficiency bonus and hit dice. Skipped that. I skipped the actions in combat. I just like put a tab for the chapter for combat, but I didn't need to have anything specific or, you know, some of the stuff that basically is the fundamental rules of the game. I also skipped all of the stuff that was tied specifically to the classes, right? So we've got things like Wild Shape, Bardic Inspiration, Key Points, you know, Sorcery Points. Now, if you played a very specific character and you were like, I only play, I don't know, Sorcerers, you might put the tab in there for Sorcery Points, so you know. And then I didn't get to the spells yet. So again, like I said, we have things like the spell lists, but then we also have some specific spells called out. Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Dispel Magic, Invisibility, Magic Missile, Hex, Counterspell, Wish, Identify, and Cure Wounds. I will say that those are pretty good options, especially things like Counterspell, Magic Missile, Identify, Invisibility. A lot of these spells are ones I feel like people take pretty commonly, and they're... Sorry, I guess my auto white balance must not be turned off like it's supposed to be. So Elgato keeps changing all of their software, and I keep getting screwed by things like that happening. Anyway, and then we have the various letters, which again goes A through Z. Now that, like I said, that could be for in the back here for the various creatures in the back, but you also could use the letters to cover the spells. So you could have just like spells starting with letter A or what have you, and then again use the specific ones if you so chose. But I think it looks really clean, you know? I mean, also the chapters kind of are a little bit bigger, so I had those stick out a little bit further, and like the sub chapters stick in a little bit more. And I think if you look at that, I mean, it looks very clean. You know, you can see everything here. Nice and easy to flip through. Again, see towards the end here, like I have character customization and feats, but then I just went like chapter 7, ability score, chapter 8, adventuring, chapter 9, combat, chapter 10, spells and spellcasting, chapter 11, spells. Like I said, there are ones for both the monster manual and the DMG. Looking at the monster manual, I can see this will also probably be very good because you're going to have, it looks like, for every monster, just looking at the back here, I see, you know, goblins, hags, orcs, troll, Yuan-Ti, Yugoloth, and then a tab for the index. And then for the DMG, I see obviously all the different chapters, XP threshold by character level, magic items A to Z, dungeons, traps, casting a spell, monster lists, all things like that. Now, I went over and checked out the Wizkids website to see these actually are technically in pre-order mode. You can't purchase them yet, but as you can see, it is listed for an August release of this year, so anytime soon. And again, here it shows it off, and they are $8.99 a piece. And again, if you were to click on this, it will show you all of the things that we just kind of talked about. Again, here's the ones for the DMG. We can see for the various chapters, a couple of blank tabs, and 72 other small tabs that cover various subsections and areas of interest. Right? Again, these are things like I would be sure that I added in because I have them on my DMG already. And then again, for the monster manual, we have the various pieces, and then 72 smaller tabs that cover various sub-chapters as well. So again, here, right, purple worm, and then we just have letters. So you can mix and match. They also don't really add, let me come back to my main camera here. They're not really adding too much to the profile of your book. So, I mean, the biggest worry you have when you tab a book is sticking it on a bookshelf because you're going to kind of smush. But it's not, like I said, it's really, and these are pretty soft, so if you were to just push this up against a bookshelf, they'll rebound back. So again, I've been doing this for years on all of my D&D books with post-it notes. And then, I just have to get creative in how small I write. But these material are very much, the material that these are made out of are very much like the post-it notes that I have been using for years, which I can tell you are removable, reusable, and they don't leave any residue or tear your pages when you go to remove them or add new ones, which is probably the most important thing if you're going to live in a world where you're using physical books. And I'll be honest, I use D&D Beyond a lot for a lot of things, but I still like having my physical books. I mean, at the most basic level, if you lose the internet or your computer's not working or your phone or what have you, you can always rely on the tried and true pen and paper method. But sometimes it's just easier to read things on paper than it is to look at it on a screen. Or if you want to just try to disconnect from constant screen use and you want to just read a book, this is a great way to make things a little bit easier for yourself. So I'm a huge fan. And at the price point of $8.99, that's not much. I think that's about what you'd pay for like a set of those post-it tabs that I was talking about that I used to use. And this, rather than having you write those in there and have to wait for things to dry and read your own chicken scratch, it's pre-printed and ready to go. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and I will see you all next time.